Good evening, everyone. Paul Chamberlain, the Air Force guy here at Wills Alley Pub and Sports Lounge here in Taneytown, Maryland. So we have a few folks in the house. We've got Chuck Ash. Appreciate you getting in here. He's from Salisbury, Maryland there. Kent Grander. Appreciate you and Bamster showing up here this evening. And as the rest of you all shuffle in the room, please do announce yourself. And glad to be back. I know last week, again, I fell behind. My daughter was buying a car, and I was out there supporting her, trying to get her to make sure that they weren't going to go ahead and take advantage of a young lady. So did that. Of course, no luck on Tuesday, but on Thursday we were able to close the deal for her and made sure that she got the deal she was looking for. So there we go. Anyway, so we have Ziggy's in the house. Appreciate you stopping in here. And I was going to answer your question here this evening. And by the way, I'm going to do something a little bit, I guess, new here this evening. In the event that someone has a question, if you would like to, just hit me up. I'll put the link out here, invite you in, and that way there we don't have to do this back and forth and so forth. See, Colleen is in the house. We have a lot more people in the house than actually are showing here. I know some people, I talk to them and they say how they're able to watch, but for whatever reason, they can't figure out how to get themselves where they can make a comment. And basically what you've got to do is you're going to be signed into Google in order to do that. But we'll start off first by kind of giving you some updates on the RV industry, because I'll tell you that is ever so changing. And I don't see that going away here anytime soon, although you never know. But what we're running up against is these price increases due to the fact that material costs are going through the roof. Just for instance, I just had a gentleman put in an order for a camper, and we put it in, and we got it in just in time because they just came through with a $4,000 base cost increase. So we were able to get that in there before he was hit with that as well. And Wayne, good evening. Appreciate you joining here. And I'll be getting in there. I was not in there today. Monday was a crazy day, but I will be getting that information to you tomorrow. Hoping to be able to get that information to you, and that way there we can see what we can do for you on that as well. So keep that in mind. If in fact you are looking at an RV, there are some RV companies that if you do place an order and get your name on one, that you are price protected. Now there's manufacturers out there that do not do that. So be sure that if you're going to go ahead and order a unit, ask that question. Now, what do we see going on in the RV industry? Well, I can tell you from Beckley's standpoint, last year, this time frame, we had just under 300 units in stock that were available. And last year, starting in April, May, June, July, August, each of those months, we were selling over 200 units a month. Now, keep in mind, we were having about 100 units coming in every month, approximately as well. So that kind of kept the pipeline filled. By the time we got to November, we only had less than 100 units, new units that is, in stock to begin the month. So, and that was just as the market, again, for the year, obviously slows down a little bit. Now, this year, where are we today? Well, the problem we're running into is the last 2 months, March and April, we have sold over 200 units. Now, we had a strong January, strong February, but then March and April, we were well over 200 units for the month. Now, going into May, here's where our dilemma is going to be. And this isn't just our dealership. I hear that some other dealerships out there are even worse off than we are. But right now, we have roughly just about 100 new units in stock and maybe about 30 used, pre-owned, and that's it. Now here's where the dilemma is going to be. We're going to still have hopefully about 100 units coming in this month. But the problem is back in January, February, March, we had people that were putting down payments on units that were coming in. So of the 100 units that are going to come in over the next, I would say 4 or 5 months, we're going to be having probably 50 to 60 of those units that are already sold. So you can see where this is going to be I think it's going to be even worse this year going into the summer months than it was last year, because we're starting off with less, and the amount of inventory we have coming in is going to be less because of the amount of inventory that is already sold that's coming in. We have 20 salespeople there at Beckley's, and I would say that each of the salespeople have anywhere between, I would say, 5 to 15 units that are sold units that are coming in over the next 4 or 5 months. So we had a few other people show up here this evening. We have Brian Matthews. Appreciate you joining us, sir. Robert Medina down there in Florida. Him and Ada, of course, they're enjoying the weather, and they interrupted their Yankees game to tune in here. So Terry Matthews in the house. Appreciate you coming in. And then, of course, we have Dreaming Out Loud RV. Now, I did have a question from somebody out there. They sent me an email. They were ordering a unit, and they wanted to go ahead and have additional solar. They wanted to have also lithium batteries on their unit, and they were a little perplexed that the RV dealer was pushing AGM batteries. Now, something that some people are not aware of. Now, this individual is looking to purchase a Grand Design unit, and but the problem is that you will run into some of these dealers that don't know what they're doing when they add solar and they add lithium. With most RVs out there that are that you're going to go ahead and be putting a lithium battery on it. A lot of these RVs out there, you also have to change the converter inverter system, or the converter system that is in the RV as well. Now, if I had a customer asking me if they, Paul, listen, I want to put lithium batteries on it, I want to find out, okay, what is it you're attempting to do? Because I don't think that the dealer was doing you any injustice, depending on what AGM batteries they were talking about, because there are some AGM batteries out there that would be probably fit the bill. Because the thing is, when you're looking at an RV, and I did a couple of lives pertaining to RVs and solar, the problem you have with RVs and solar is this. Number one, you only have so much roof space. So that means, well, how many panels can I put on the roof, and how much charge is that going to give me? And then, of course, how many batteries can I have on my unit? So having 2 batteries is approximately about the only amount you're going to be able to put on these smaller travel trailers. And so you're only going to have so much energy source. And then you're only going to be able to run so much. And I think if you were to compare it from a pricing standpoint, lithium versus AGM, I think that you could find AGM batteries that would be far better for you, or do at least the same amount, but cost like half the price of a lithium battery. And again, we didn't talk in specifics, but I'm just going to kind of give you my thoughts on what we've seen. Because with the amount of solar panels you're going to put on let's say a 21-foot trailer, there's not a lot of roof space up there, so you're not going to be able to get much. Now, the other thing I talked about people putting solar on their roofs is most of the time when you go out camping, you want to be in the shade. So you may want to consider, as an alternative measure for solar panels, getting the portable solar panels so you can be in the shade and have the solar panels in the sun. And of course, you could rotate them throughout the day. But hopefully that helps you there. You're told by a dealer that if I want a new RV, then I need to put my name on it. Otherwise, and I'll tell you what, that's a true statement. The problem we're running into again is, and I'm sure this is across the board, doesn't matter what dealership you go to, is there's only so much inventory coming in. And if you don't put your name on it, there will be somebody right behind you, because, and especially with the Grand Design, but I'm sure Jayco's having the same thing. I'm sure Lance, I know New Camp, across the board, they're having a shortage of units. Now, contrary to what some people might tell you, they're not building more units. Now, some of these manufacturers are opening additional manufacturing plants so they can manufacture more, but they're not making more at a particular manufacturing plant. So keep that in mind. Hopefully that answers your questions, or your question. Hopefully that gave you maybe a better insight to where maybe that dealer is trying to take you. But like I say, bottom line, it comes down to what the customer wants. And ultimately, if the customer wants lithium batteries, we're going to walk them through that process and make sure that they have what they want. We don't necessarily talk them out of it. We give them the information so that they can make an educated decision. So appreciate that, Wayne. Thank you very much. But does anybody else have any additional questions? And while I'm waiting for a question coming up, I want to just go ahead and give a shout out again to Make-A-Wish. You know, I'll tell you, I have 5 more families that want RVs, and that is going to be a tough thing for us to do with the shortage that we have. But even with that, Make-A-Wish Mid-Atlantic still has a $6 million deficit. You know, it's come down a little bit, but the link is down below. If you find it in your heart, you can go ahead and donate a little bit. That would be greatly appreciated. I've already had 3 families pick up this year, and they are excited to get out and enjoy some camping and make some memories that are going to last a lifetime. That's for sure. So, and I'll tell you, so another thing I want to throw out there to you. So next Tuesday, we're not going to be having a live, but the following Tuesday, the 17th, Maureen's going to be on, and we're going to have a big announcement that day. So hopefully you all, don't miss us too much next week, but do join us on the 17th, because we're going to have a few things we're going to talk about. We've got a huge announcement and really looking forward to that evening. Let me see, somebody has a question here. Win ratings as far as how much they can stand. Win ratings as far as what? Are you talking about? You talk about the awnings? You talk about the RVs? What are we talking about here? Oh, I know, I see it. I'm just going to go ahead and because this is where these questions come up and it gets tough. If you'd like to come up, there is the link, and I'd be more than happy to bring you on here, and we will would be more than happy to go back and forth. Makes it a little bit easier. So sitting in a park, well, win rating, well, I don't know the actual win rating, but I can tell you that, we get 50, 60 mile an hour winds coming through our dealership, and we don't even have the stabilizers down, and they're not getting tipped over or anything. Now, we are having some of the smaller RVs, if the wheels were in chalk properly, they're getting pushed into each other. But other than that, that I don't know what the actual win rating would be. If anybody out there has that answer, by all means, do chime in. Be glad to entertain some additional information out there. Intect RV, Robin's Nest. I do not sell Intect. I tell you what, I saw them when I was down at the Tampa show. Very impressed with their lineup. They've got some really cool things going for them, and I know people that have them, they absolutely love them. So That's what I would say. Let's take a look here. How is my new truck doing pulling the new camper? Well, I'll tell you, so it's doing fine. The weird thing is, so I have a half-ton Chevy pickup, and we took a 22-foot micro mini to Florida, 9 miles to the gallon. Now I've only been pulling locally here. Now I have a 32-foot 9-inch camper, and still getting 9 miles to the gallon. So pretty interesting tidbit of information if anybody cares to know. James Cantonese, what's the best time a motorhome in prices down in fall or summer? Well, I'll tell you, James, like any RV, at this point, the best time is let me back up. What I always tell people as far as when is the best time to buy an RV, the best time to buy an RV is when you are ready to buy an RV. Because at that time, it's the best time to buy. In today's day and age, it is very difficult for you to find, say, okay, well, I'm going to wait till August or September because I'm going to wait till they have, maybe a 21 left over because the 22 model year is going to be here. The chances of a 21 being available in August, September might be slim to nil. But then on top of that, if you're going to wait and get a 22, you're going to see some major increases in pricing, especially in the motorhome lineup. So the best time to buy is when you're ready to buy. That's what I would tell you. Don't believe the hype that the best time to buy is at an RV show. It's not always true. And if a dealer tells you when you want to give you a price, and if you ask them, hey, listen, how long is this price good for? If their answer isn't this answer, then don't even bother going back to them. A lot of these dealers will say to you, well, it's only good for right now or today. The answer I give people is this. This price that I gave you is good on this camper as long as we have the camper. It's that easy. So hopefully that answers your question. Ziggy, good deal. Well, and hoping that clarified a little bit for you. Sometimes dealers and manufacturers or whoever, they don't want to take the time and kind of ask you what you're actually attempting to do, and then give you the inside information to give you some information so that you're educated. So that way there you're making the best decision for you. And I give you a perfect example. Somebody, and I see this question all the time, what's the best surge protector to get for your RV? Now, my answer is don't get a surge protector. You don't want a surge protector. And the reason why I say that is because you want an EMS surge protector. You don't want to just have protection for surges. You need protection for low voltage as much as you do for high voltage, but you also need the protection for, reverse polarity, ground fault. Let's see, there's a couple other ones that are on there. Can't remember off the top of my head. But that is what I recommend. And some individual commented back that he's emailed the manufacturer of the RV that he bought, and they said, no, you don't need it because that's why you have the converter, the converter where you have the breakers and fuses. That's why that's there. His dealer told the same thing. So understand that, I've had customers of mine that have had the EMS surge protectors. They're alerted to the fact that they have an issue at the pole. They call me, say, Paul, what the heck do I do now? I tell them, get somebody from the campground to come out, have them fix the problem, and whatever you do not take that surge protection out of the equation. Now, I've had 2 customers of mine over the past 4 years that I tell them that, and the next thing I know, 2 weeks later, I see them. They're at our shop, and I ask them, "Hey, what are you doing here today?" "Oh, Paul, I didn't listen to you. They talked me out of using the surge protection. They told me, oh hell, I didn't need it. It was hardwired. That thing's it's just a fault. There's something wrong with what you have." And their unit is in our service getting fixed. So understand with all the electronics that are on your camper nowadays, they're a lot more sensitive than they used to be. And the power at these campgrounds, a lot of them are bad power, as I said. So hopefully that gives you an idea. So a lot of bad information out there. Just make sure that you protect your RV and don't always believe what you're told. Now, again, I give people my professional opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm right. I'm just giving you my professional opinion. Okay. So RV Dog is in the house. Appreciate you showing up here tonight. And we got George Danick. He's down there in the Gulf enjoying it. So let's see. Let's see here. We're looking for a small cargo trailer type. Put a motorcycle in. What do you recommend? Not expensive, Betty. So you're looking for something. So you're looking for a little toy hauler. I'll tell you, they're hard to come by these days. Spree Escape used to make one. They don't make it anymore. And the problem is finding one that is light enough for most time. So, but anyway. Well, good. I hope that answered your question, James. Feel free to reach out to me if you need to talk in more detail. As I said, I put that. Does anybody have any questions? If you do, there is the link. Be more than happy to bring you on. If you'd like to say hello to everybody, we've got 21,000 people in the house here this evening. Now, they're all not logged in yet, but, you know, I'm able to see the number of people we have in the house here. I don't know if you guys can. But anyway, hopefully, you've learned a few things here this evening. Hopefully, I've answered a few questions for everybody. And I tell you, we're so looking forward to 2 weeks from tonight. Got a lot of good things we're going to go over on the 17th. So be sure to chime back in. I'm going to give you a week's break, and then we'll be back at you. So just going to wait here a few more minutes, another minute or so, see if anybody has any additional questions, see if somebody wants to pop in here, ask a question, say hello or whatever. Yes, Wayne, I appreciate that. Please do hit that thumbs up button. Listen, if you're not enjoying it, hit the thumbs down button. It's okay. If you're watching on replay, put a comment down below as well. More thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. Comments, the better as far as the for YouTube, for their analytics and so forth, and just gets the video put out there more. But do appreciate that. I think, you know, I do try to share as much information to people and make it factual. Sometimes I get corrected, and that's okay, because you know what, things are always changing in this business, and if you're not continually learning, you're not going to be doing very well. That's for sure. So it looks like we don't have anybody else that has any questions, and we don't have anybody willing to come on, show their face here on live TV. But anyway, I do appreciate everybody showing up here this evening. If you're watching on replay, again, do hit that thumbs up button. Put a comment down below. And look forward to seeing a few of you people out here this year out camping. I know I got a couple of different camping trips planned. And I know we're going to see a lot of different faces out there. And it's going to be good to see you all in person, hang out, and just enjoy some conversation around a campfire. So thanks again for coming in. And in 2 weeks now, I'll be back, and I'm going to have my lovely bride in that one that evening. So do join us, and we will be coming back at you then. Take care.